I'm assuming you've watched all 3 episodes, correct?
No, I haven't started them. You're gonna have to tell me what happens scene by scene.
I was hoping for that.
You are listening to Chicagoland's finest podcast. The all-new Culture Cast begins now.
Welcome back, everyone, to the all-new Culture Cast. I'm your host, Nick, and with me is...
Cousin Charles, back at it again.
And this week is a very special episode where Cousin Charles learns a very important lesson about the dangers of drinking. But also, we talk about it's our first part of our two-part coverage of the Crisis on Infinite Earths Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. Man, that's a tongue twister. That the
Yeah.
CW is doing between all their Arrowverse shows, specifically Supergirl, Batwoman, Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow. Although the title screen for those shows have been renamed Crisis on Infinite Earths, so it's basically a little mini series out of the other shows there. So yeah, there you go. I'm sure people who are just DVRing one of the shows get very confused when this episode pops up, but hopefully that won't be the case there. But yeah, we're going to be talking about hours 1 through 3, and then when hours 4 and 5 air in January, we'll pick it up and do an episode where we're talking about that. So, Cuz, are you ready to go?
I am ready to rock and roll, buddy.
All right. So, a lot went down.
Yeah.
Of these 3 episodes. I don't know if we're going to talk about anything specifically, but let me revise that. I don't know if we're going to talk about anything like in any particular order, but
Yeah.
let me ask you a basic question. So far, of the 3 hours, how have you been enjoying it? Have you been liking it so far? Not liking it? You're somewhere in between. What are your general thoughts?
For the most part, I'd say one was kind of like okay, like overall from start to finish. 2 picked it up a little bit. Then 3 kind of, for the most part, held together. But then right near the end, it kind of got a little wonky as just some things were just tossed at the screen in just like a quick, rapid succession. I'm like, what is going on? Where it's like they had to squeeze in too much or too much plot into one episode, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
I would say just kind of, because you can't really compare it to the other parts of the season because it's kind of like its own separate thing. But compared to the other crossovers, I'm not enjoying this one. Like, they've all kind of gone bigger in scale. In terms of that, I'm not quite enjoying this as much as I thought I would. Like, I think some of the earlier crossovers, like we can't, like Earth X,
Mm-hmm.
I think we were done better. But we'll get into that in more detail.
Was Earth X 4 shows or 3 shows? I can't remember.
That one, I believe, it had Flash. I think it was 4.
4? Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to double check to
Uh,
make sure, but I'm 90% sure that's what it was.
I've been enjoying this one so far. I think they're working on a slow burn. Like the first episode was sort of like getting you used to what's happening and what's going on, kind of setting the tone and the scene. I like how the second episode was more about we gotta get our team together,
Yeah.
and they're all trying to collect various people, which was really just an excuse to throw cameos in, which we'll talk about. We'll get to
Yeah.
that. And then 3 is when they're really trying to get the plan together, trying to stop things. And we have our Infinity War cliffhanger, so to
Yes.
speak. 2, if you really want to count it, because 1, I'm just going to spoil it right now. Who cares? One that all the universes were destroyed.
Yes.
Like everything's wiped out except for our 7 heroes. And 2, the Brandon Routh Superman was replaced by Lex Luthor because Lex Luthor scribbled his name in a book.
Yeah.
And, which is hilariously awesome and stupid at the same time. But that was an interesting twist I was not expecting. But so I gotta say I've not been disappointed so far.
I think I may have had I think I may have had my expectations a little bit too high, to be honest. But with that being said, I mean, there's still parts of this I'm still enjoying, but I think there are definitely some things I'm like, what? There's some weird. I think we can probably both agree there as we kind of get into this. There are some weird choices that they made where I'm like, why did we do that? Why is that being done this way?
Mhm.
There's a couple that stand out, which I'll kind of get into which we'll get into when the time is right.
Okay. So each episode had their own sort of little shocks and surprises. The biggest one being that in the first episode they kill off Oliver Queen.
Yes.
Um,
So,
which yeah, I thought Oliver, and this still may, Oliver was going to die in the finale, but they subverted our expectations. They pulled a Last Jedi on us, and they had Oliver die right away. But of
yeah,
course he of course comes back, sort of. We'll
he
see
got
how that all
better.
works out. He got better. Which I got a question about that. So your prediction about the Spectre was right on.
Yes. So that turned out to be true. Thanks, internet.
Yeah, I was disagreeing with you on that one, but you were right. So thumbs up, you win. But here's my question, and maybe they won't deal with it because they'll hand wave and think we'll forget, but Oliver's body is alive. He's just gone cray cray because he doesn't have his soul.
Right.
But Oliver's soul is like, no, I'm not going back. So what's going to happen to Oliver's body?
I don't know what I'm assuming. Either he's just gonna be like I'm assuming they're probably not gonna put him in like a vegetative state because that'd be pretty down. But I'm assuming his soul's going to return to him, and then he's going to evolve the Spectre powers or something. But that's going back to what I was saying about things that kind of like I was like, why did we do this way? Like the setup to like okay, killing Oliver and then bringing him back. I get it. I was with it, but then literally right as Diggle, John Constantine, and then his future daughter are in purgatory, which just so happens to look like Lian Yu, so we don't have to make another set. They're like, okay, Oliver, you gotta come back with us. Okay, then out of nowhere, hi, I'm Jim Corrigan. I'm the Spectre.
Yeah, that was. I'm surprised they didn't plant more seeds for that, or
No,
I don't know.
It was very weirdly set up. Like I feel like I don't know. They could have had a scene where like Oliver wakes up, he's on Lian Yu, and then the Spectre's he's like a figure in the distance, he's chasing him. Like there's stuff you can do, but instead of just like, hey, I'm just gonna pop out from behind this tree and just introduce a major DC Comics character out of nowhere.
Yeah, like he just that was kind of weird. Like, hey, I'm the Spectre. What's up,
Yeah.
guys? You want to come with me, kid? I got candy. Okay.
Well, I guess I could go back to my friends and family and save the world, or I can go with you, guy I just met. Well, I think I read somewhere online. I think I think in the short-lived Constantine show that this version of John Constantine is from, I think they had the Spectre or somebody played Jim Corrigan on that show. I've never seen the show, but when I was scrolling through Reddit, I think somebody had posted that.
Yeah, I didn't watch the show either, but yeah, there was the character who that character did appear on that show. Who, fun fact, the actor who played that character on that show, his last name happened to be Lobo, and oh wait, no, I'm screwing up the fun fact already. The actor who played the Spectre on that show later went on to play Lobo in the TV show Krypton, and the actor who's playing the new character of the Spectre's last name is Lobo, so it's all connected.
It's all a Marvel. It's all a Kevin Feige style connection.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's neat.
So
But yeah,
fun fact. But yeah, it was weird that they just like popped him out of nowhere.
I mean, considering that the previous episode, along with this one, had all been about we're going to get Oliver back, and then it's like, nah, you ain't getting him. Like it's not even like there's another way or something. Like I can make, it was one of those. again, like, why was it done this way? It's like they knew they're like, okay, we got to make Oliver the Spectre, but we don't really know how to get there, so we're just going to. It's like one of like if you're writing something and you just get frustrated, you just go, you know what?
Mhm.
I'm just going to write it. I'm just going to write it out and just deal with the consequences later.
Maybe
Uh,
they'll expand on it in the next 2 episodes. I have a feeling episode 4 is going to be more let's get you background on things. 'Cause I did hear that episode 4 is going to deal with the origin of the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor,
okay.
and maybe they'll deal with the origin of the Spectre and what his deal is. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we'll
because
see.
I think one of the things that I think this whole kind of like the Spectre situation, the one thing I was thinking as I was watching these 3 episodes, I was like, this easily probably should have been a couple episodes longer. You know what I mean? Because it's like they like you said, they kind of started with a little bit of a slow burn, but then at like it's slow like 1 second, and then snap. It's like we're everything's happening at once. It's like I feel like I get it's a 5-part crossover, which I think, in terms of the number of shows that are involved, I think is the most, because I think every other crossover
Yes.
has been like 4. So this,
Max has been 4, yeah. But yeah, so
so
this is the longest.
yeah, but it feels like with the kind of story that they're trying to tell, it wouldn't be too crazy like if they had like an extra episode or two, like if this was 7 parts or something. Just given how
Yeah,
big in scale it is.
I think at that point it would be just too unwieldy.
Yeah,
That like it's too much of an investment. Like, oh my God, how many things do I have to watch for this storyline to play out? Like at that point, just make it its own TV series.
right.
But like the fact that they're doing 5 is like take for example, here's a loose example, the Netflix Defenders TV show, which was the crossover between those other shows. Like that was 8 episodes long, 3 episodes more than the Crisis one. So it almost seems like 5 is probably the most that they could push this envelope before they'll be like, all right, come on, you gotta dial this back. But
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen the ending yet, so this might all be put together and make
Right.
sense.
And then we'll be hitting ourselves in the forehead, going, of course, of course.
Yeah, it might stick to landing. It's
Yeah,
kind of well, it's too early to see. Too early to see.
yeah,
But let's go back and focus on the episodes at hand here. So
yeah.
um, we had let's talk about, because this is what everyone wants to talk about, the cameos of
Yes.
there. So the show opens up with 3 back-to-back cameos, one of which you kind of predicted last year, when we did our what do you call it? When we did our Elseworlds podcast, is that
Mhm.
they had a brief cameo to the Titans TV show.
Yes. Which I was like, oh, okay. Which is the moment which I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, it's a cameo in stock footage, but
That's what I was wondering. Was it stock footage, or did they like say like, "Hey, we need you to just to like look surprised because we're going to put you in this scene"? Like I wasn't sure on that one.
I
But
I have yet to see. I will say, full disclosure, I have yet to see Titans or any.
same here.
So, but it look for the way it was. It looks like they just took a random scene and they just put some color filters on there to make everything red. But it was still nice to at least have kind of an acknowledgement of like, oh hey, this exists. It has some vague connection to the Arrowverse multiverse, which is like okay. And of course,
They
oh good.
I was going to say they had Alexander Knox pop up in
Yep.
the Batman '89. Although people are like wetting themselves, like, "Oh, it's the Michael Keaton Batman! Oh my
Yeah.
God!" Couple issues I have with that, and I shouldn't say issues, but just these are observations.
Okay.
Is that the bat signal in that scene was very different. 2, the newspaper he was reading was Batman defeats the Joker. Batman killed the Joker in the original movie. So this is, I don't know, 30 years later, and Batman's still, uh, uh, wrestling with Joker. It seems a little like, are they is it supposed to be like right after the original movie? The timeline's just fudged for dramatic effect, or does Joker come back to life, or is this a similar but not exact as the original? I don't know. but it was kind of neat. It was a surprise of all people to kick off the crossover is Robert Wool, who probably needed a paycheck. So he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Why not? His line was a little comical, in my opinion. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I hope you're out there, big guy. It's like, that's a little too cheesy. That character doesn't strike me as saying something like that, but what do I know?
Well, it's times like these that I like to quote the film Austin Powers by Shagby, where I suggest you don't worry about stuff like that and just have fun.
Yeah.
that goes for you too.
Yeah, I know. I'm very much nitpick. Like I said, it's observations. That's it.
To quickly kind of just my quick 2 cents, why the signal's probably different is you could make the argument, well, maybe this is the Batman 89 evolved into a form of the Batman Beyond style because it kind of had a similar look where the bat signal had more of that sharp edges of that design.
I took it more as we have the CGI element for the Batwoman bat signal. Let's just use that.
Yeah, we have that model. Why waste a good? And then of course, I think going back to the cameos and Batman, Burt Ward shows up. Just
Holy red skies of death.
Yeah, I think the main thing, at least from the first episode, in terms of the cameos, I think a lot of people online were overhyping the cameos a little bit because that's exactly what they are. They're not players. They're not interacting with the main Arrowverse cast. They are just that, cameos. They're high and by style scenes.
Yeah. There was just to be like, just to be fun, just to be like to really give the sense of scale. I liked how they included the music from the respective shows, like the Batman theme, the classic 1980, the 66 Batman theme, and the I'm guessing what was supposed to be the Titans theme. How they, particularly the 66 Batman theme, how they sort of modernized it to make it fit with modern day music as opposed to like 60s swing, but it's still identifiable. Like that's
you would still go like, oh yeah, you would go, yeah, that's definitely from that sort of campy from that show. So.
My question is, why is Robin walking a huge dog? It was very random.
Going back to the world of Reddit, because I think that photo, or there was like a photo of Burt Ward in that sort of like
that ridiculous like clown costume.
Yeah, well, it was like Robin colored sweater vest.
Yeah.
Some people were saying, I think, oh, is that supposed to be like Ace the Bat Hound or something like that? I think I heard some people. Again, I think I remember seeing that, which I'm like, okay, that works. It could also just be, hey, Bert, we're making a TV show. You want to say something really fast?
Yeah, he's like, I can use the paycheck. Holy paycheck into my account, Batman.
Yeah. And I think because most of those cameos are just in the first episode. The only other that similar style of cameo, I think, is in the beginning of the.
Let's not forget. Will Wheaton has a cameo at the beginning of he's going like, the end is near, Supergirl can save us, and then Supergirl saves him.
Yeah, of course. Shut up, Wesley.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird that I wouldn't say weird. It's like I always appreciate a good Will Wheaton cameo, but it's just kind of like, oh, that's all you're using Will Wheaton for? It's like, given the kind of nerd cred he usually get, you can usually get with him, I'm surprised that it's only just that brief scene and that's it. But still,
they also brought back the Ray for, I don't know if that was a scene taken from the Crisis on Earth X, or if they actually brought the actor back to like, stand there in your costume and then we'll insert you in the screen, because it was a very weird green screen effect that they had.
Yeah, and compared to at least the Titans one, it actually looked like they may have done that, because I think they were like, oh yeah, remember we have the Ray from 2 crossovers back.
But going on to the smaller cameos, in the third episode, they had probably the most obscure cameo of them all.
Yeah.
With
okay, what's her name?
Ashley Scott, who played, the reason I know as I looked it up on here, who played the Huntress in the very short-lived Birds of Prey TV show.
Yeah, And I think also whoever played that show's version of Oracle
Oh
was like
yes,
I think in
she
the
had a
comms.
voiceover.
Which
Yes.
I will say this, like the cameos from the first episode were kind of fun, just like. But then this one kind of reminded you, oh yeah, these Earths are being destroyed, because that was like sad. Like it wasn't like a fun, like, oh yeah, I remember that kind of thing. It was like everything is dying. It's like, oh wow, this is kind of depressing.
Spoilers, they'll be fine in the end.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll all work out.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, so they had that. Like it's weird that they focus, and it wasn't a long scene with the birds of prey, but it was like long enough that they uh brought back that character actress just to do that scene for that one, to reference that one show. Is like, of all the DC shows, I'm surprised that they had that one come back, but because it was like a 2 or 3 minute bit of for that cameo there, but whatever, it filled time, I guess. But
yeah, because I was gonna say, I mean, I could time this, but I think that cameo scene is longer than that quick cameo cut in the first episode. Like if you combined all those little bits together, I think hers
yeah,
is just as, if not just a little bit longer than cutting back from 89, 66 Batman, Titans, and the Ray little
agreed.
short.
And what's interesting is originally I had heard that what's his name, Burt Ward was going to be in the Batwoman segment of the
Oh,
episode,
okay.
but that turned out to be false. So maybe I'm wondering if they filmed the cameos not knowing where they were going to insert them, depending on how the structure and the flow, and maybe he was like hired on the Batwoman budget, but they just placed the scene in the Supergirl episode. But
I can
who
see that.
knows?
I can kind of see that because the way that they're because they're not like, well, it's kind of like a lot of the ones that people were talking about are dumped in the beginning of the first episode, and then
Mhm.
again you have the Ashley Scott one at the beginning of the third one, but it's just kind of like it was that's just kind of it. So I would not be surprised if they were just like, let's just get the cameos filmed and then we'll figure out where to put them later.
Yeah. Like it could have been like they could have reversed that, like having the Ashley Scott one at the very beginning. Actually, that would have made more sense probably. Like if they had the Birds of Prey one at the in the beginning of the first episode, because like she's running like, we gotta get out of here. What's going on? Why can't we
Yeah,
get out of here? Because it seems like it's more desperate. And then they had and then like in the third episode when all the Earths are actually being destroyed, having the more of the quicker montage, like boom, boom, boom. Because it
yeah,
did seem in that third episode, kind of you're saying how things seem to happen quickly. Like all of a sudden, oh, there's only 5 Earths left. Oh, now there's only one Earth left. It's like, whoa, that's a breakneck speed of that happening.
you know, and yeah, and what you just said goes back to kind of my bigger issue with a lot of this crossover is there just seems to be some weird choices made where it's like, why did you guys do that? Like it didn't, compared to like everything you did before. It's like that could have been done a little bit better, or that. But things like that are just kind of exemplify sort of my big issues with these first three parts. Now,
Right.
once the last two hit, I'd be like, you know what, it all worked out. But that's kind of where my general feelings have been lying so far.
I going back to my theory for a second, I almost wonder if let's say my theory was correct, they're going to put the Birds of Prey one they're going to front load that one. I almost wonder if there was so much buzz about the cameos, like, oh, there's going to be cameos. They thought, you know what, let's give people what they want right up front, and
Yeah,
then well, I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's just a theory.
I would not.
Uh,
I would not be surprised if what you're saying. I would not be surprised if that's how it turned out. Like if in some Comic Con next year, some creator talks about like, oh yeah, it described exactly what you said. I would not be shocked by that.
right. Let's talk about some of the bigger cameos. First, the Tom Welling cameo, reprising his role as Clark Kent. Completely unnecessary scene. Completely unnecessary.
Yeah,
But it was a lot of fun. I felt like, as someone who watched Smallville from beginning to end, when it was first on, Welling stepped back into the role very well. I was not disappointed by that.
okay. Because as someone who has not watched Smallville and does it, I know some people. I've read that some people were kind of upset by that, or by that the Smallville Clark Kent gave up his powers, just be a normal guy. Again,
Which is,
I
I'm
what
sorry,
were
go
you?
ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, for me, I don't have that connection to that show, and like I know that the whole point of that show was like, oh, this is Clark Kent's journey from from being Clark Kent into Superman. So, what are your kind of feelings on that? As someone who's watched that show and kind of been with those characters.
I'm fine with it. It makes sense because Clark on that show always kind of wanted to be like a regular guy. He always was kind of fighting his destiny. And having two girls is kind of like a good way out. Also, Clark losing his powers on Smallville is also known as like every other Tuesday. So that happening like right now, it doesn't totally surprise me. But I mean, it's fine. It makes sense for the character. I mean, at this point, he would have been Superman. Let's see. The show ended in 11, assuming it was a good timeline, same timeline. Would have been Superman for like 8 years at this point. Plus the 10 years previously, he was doing Superman type of things. Yeah, it's fine. He was Superman long enough, and if the Arrowverse ever comes back to revisit Smallville and they want to make him Superman again, they could do that. They won't because Tom Welling probably won't want to be Superman.
Yeah.
So it's fine. I'm okay with it.
I was gonna say the actress who played like apparently the Smallville Lois Lane. I mean, she barely like pops. She's just like there and gone in like 30 seconds.
That's true. She only has a small role, but she also played Supergirl's mother.
Was she in the first episode then?
She was, yes.
Okay.
So she wasn't totally shortchanged.
She got her paycheck.
Yeah. But no, I didn't mind the Tom Welling cameo. I mean, or at least rather what they did with it. I liked his interaction. I wish he had more interaction with the other Superman character.
Yeah.
But I wish. But I liked his interaction with John Cryer, Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I think how he decked him. He's like,
yeah.
I don't miss these conversations. And he's like, still stronger than you.
Yeah. There is always just something inherently fun about Superman besting Lex Luthor despite all of his best efforts.
Right.
Because he's like, I got kryptonite. It's like, this does nothing for me.
Yeah. I mean, I love how his he just kind of had like a sort of like he was acting like a bit of a jackass. Not a jackass, I shouldn't say it. Just kind of like a smart ass. Like when like Lex is like, but you gave up your powers. He's just kind of like rolling his eyes like, oh, not this shit again.
Yeah.
And like Lex is like, I don't even. Like you took all the fun out. It's not even worth killing you, so he doesn't.
Yeah.
And Clark just kind of like, nah, that's a thing that happened, and moves on with his life.
Yeah. And, although he kind of quickly brushes off the fact that his universe is about to be destroyed, like, apparently the multiverse is in trouble. And then their little thing's like, oh, Clark, you're so funny.
Right. That was pretty good. One thing that was interesting, again, this is me being nitpicky. When watching Supergirl, I could have sworn that Lex Luthor knew that Superman was Clark Kent in that iteration, because he knows that he knows who Supergirl is. Like he knows Supergirl's secret identity, but on the Crisis crossover here, he implied that he did not know Clark Kent was Superman because he had a comment like, I guess here Clark Kent's Superman. In my world, Clark would be able to see past his glasses. Like, like Clark Kent's not Superman. Wouldn't he like put that together? Like, wait, Clark's Superman, all these different realities. Clearly, in my reality, he's probably Superman as well. Additionally, he saw Clark Kent there like 2 minutes previously before he like whisked them away.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess
I hope someone got fired for that blunder.
Yeah. Fired and blackballed from the industry.
I was quoting Simpsons where in Itchy and Scratchy, when Itchy was playing Scratchy's ribs like a xylophone, he hit the same rib twice and gave out two distinct sounds. I hope someone got fired for that blunder.
I think I I'll have to rewatch that 'cause I don't think I caught that.
It was
But
just like a throwaway line, and I kept going back like, is he suggesting? But like when Luther was on the show last year, I could have sworn that he knew, but maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Again, me being nitpicky, but I like the Tom Welling cameo overall. It was fun.
yeah.
What did you
Although I
think
will.
about Kevin? Oh, go
Oh no,
ahead.
you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, what did you think about Kevin Conroy as uh, Batman Bruce Wayne?
Yeah. So well, definitely they're go. So I think I had said in our Road to Crisis, I was like, oh, they're going for a Kingdom Come style. Turns out they're going more for they went
Justice
more
Lords.
Justice Lords or like I was actually gonna say more of Batfleck, like from the Snyder
Oh,
movies, very much pro murder Batman, which a part of me is like, what, this is great. Kevin Conroy's being a live action Batman. This is awesome. At the same time, it's like, yeah, but this is kind of the version of Batman that a lot of people aren't the biggest fans of. A Batman that starts killing people because
which is
if
why
they're
they made him the villain and killed him.
yeah, yeah, which look, I have not watched Batwoman. From everything I can tell, they're definitely trying to amp up. We've got Batwoman, and she's good. And there was a couple of times where I rolled my eyes a little bit, where especially when at the end of that episode in particular, they were like, what was it? It's like the Bat of the future. You are the Bat of the future. It's like
It's a little cheesy.
it's
It didn't
a
bother me all that much.
I guess. Again, I just kind of rolled my eyes a little bit. It's like, we get it. You're trying to say Batwoman's great. Please watch the show. So there's a part of me there's a part of me that's kind of like, I like what this is for the most part, but at the same time, once I kind of dig into it, I'm like, did we have to go this particular route? I get it. We're trying to do old Batman, and Kevin Conroy, you know, is not going to be doing kick flips and stuff like that.
Right.
But at the same time, it was kind of like, oh, we're going for murder Frank Miller Batman. So but I still
Um,
enjoy it for what it was. And apparently the other guy that's in Bruce's mansion, he's apparently on Batwoman, but why is his shirt
yes.
off?
Here's my guess on that. I'm guessing in Batwoman, that character is Luke Fox, who is the
Okay,
son of Lucius Fox,
okay,
and he plays the tech guy in Batwoman. Like every show has a tech guy. You had Arrow has Felicity, Flash has Cisco, Supergirl had well first it used to be
Win.
what's that?
Wasn't it Win or something?
At first it was Win, and then now it's Brainiac 5.
Yeah, yeah.
So like every show has their tech guy, and he plays the role of the tech guy. And he's very like a button up, suit and vest kind of nerdy kind of guy.
Okay.
And I'm guessing they showed him as being shirt open, jacked, just to play with expectations, and like just so Batwoman could have like a funny exchange, like, oh, you got abs, just
Yeah.
probably for humor effect. But yeah, so um, yeah. So that's why
Well,
he has his shirt off, probably for
okay.
a joke.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. The thing that threw me about the Kevin Conroy cameo is that, and I listened carefully. He did not use his Batman voice. Like he sounded nothing like his animated version, which I know he's a voice actor, so maybe he wanted to do something different. But I feel it kind of defeats the purpose of using Kevin Conroy if he's not going to use the Batman voice.
I think it was. I think it was. I don't know. I thought it was close enough. I mean, I didn't. I mean, I kind of. I think if you close your eyes, I think you would have. I think you would have gotten that same effect.
See, I tried doing that, and it didn't. Maybe I need to rewatch the scene and try it again. But like, he just sounded different. It's like that's not Batman's voice. Do Batman voice.
Yeah. Do the line.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
There's a what do you call it? I don't know what magazine or YouTube channel it was specifically, but it was they were interviewing Kevin Conroy, and he was doing Batman lines that other live action Batmans have said in his Batman voice, and it wasn't as long as I wish it could have been, but it was pretty funny. Like I think he had one like, "It's a car, right? Chicks dig the car." Um, like just like it was very amusing seeing that him doing the other Batman lines like the Val Kilmer or Clooney or
Yeah.
Bale and all of them. So so yeah.
I liked it for what it was.
No, it was cool to see him, and I do wonder if they do bring Bruce Wayne onto Batwoman, will it be played by Kevin Conroy?
Possibly. Well, possibly because I think in the one photo, well, they had I mean, I will say this: the door is kind of open for that, just because they showed a picture of like, oh, this is the Kate Kane of his world, and it looks exactly like Ruby Rose. So
Right, like
maybe,
same age and everything.
right. So it's possible. I definitely just kind of because it sort of unceremoniously killed him off because by throwing him into like the I don't know whatever electrical thing that was conveniently there that he stumbled into.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, oh, that's how we're getting rid of one of the most legendary actors to voice Batman. So that that was a thing. But
So I don't know. I'd be curious because it's established on the Batwoman that Batman is older. We don't know how much, but he is like he'd been around for a while and he's like on the older end. So it'd be I'd be curious to find out who if they do bring him on the show if Conroy will play him because I'd be down for that.
Oh, I think you and every nerd in America would be down for that, and it'd be kind of silly to like put someone else in that role if you've already got the opportunity to use one of the best portrayals of Batman.
Right. Especially since they established that Ruby Rose also recognized him as Bruce Wayne. Because when they went to the other Superman, they didn't recognize him as Superman until they said, "Oh, you must be Superman."
Well, even even going back to that notion, even the Smallville Clark Kent said, "You're not Lex." Been talking to John Cryer. But yeah, so I think a lot of people would be I think that would be pretty cool if they did that. I mean, I'm not going to be the one to say no. Don't have Kevin Conroy be Batman again. So, but yeah, that's just my thing. I think they kind of there's some great. I think they had some pretty good scenes between him and Kate Kane that they had in the show. But I think it was just kind of like a little bit of a weird direction they decided to go full on. Oh, this is a murder happy Batman, But that's kind of my general things on that aspect of it.
It defied expectations.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson got into the editing room and decided to subvert all your expectations.
Yeah. So let's talk about some other stuff here.
Okay.
One other cameo, which was they tried this got leaked months ago, and they tried playing it off like, oh no, he was just there visiting to say hi, but they had a Lucifer cameo.
Yes.
Played by the actor who played Lucifer on the show Lucifer, which is interesting that they went that route. Well, they integrated it well. They made it make sense.
Yep.
Which
that was a fun scene. I think in terms of like, oh, this cameo isn't happening. I think a lot of people honestly kind of forgot about it until it's like, oh, hey, Lucifer's there. Which, if we're going to be nitpicky, so is he the Lucifer of all the multiverse or just of that particular Earth?
I'm guessing just of that particular Earth.
Yeah, but again, going back to my Austin Powers quote, doesn't matter. Lucifer's there. Of course, John Constantine knows him.
Which makes for an interesting backstory. I'm curious. Yeah. Does Constantine now know how to like jump through universes? Who's to say?
Who's to say? But point is, Lucifer was involved. It was great little cameo, great little nugget to stick in there. So, but I think that covers most of the main big cameos because I want to say the only other one that you could qualify it, but I wouldn't really would be, of course, Brandon Routh of Legends of Tomorrow fame. Once again, returning to the iconic red shorts of Superman and being well, Superman again.
And I'm convinced he's playing the incarnate. Let me start that over. He's playing the same character he played back in 2005.
Yeah.
No, 2006. 2006. And I say that because um, they uh, they directly reference his son,
Hmm.
who was named Jason in that movie, and they named his son Jason in the Superman in the Arrowverse. So they don't say who his wife was. They don't say if it was Lois. He just said his wife, which it could have been Lois, but the way that movie had ended, he and Lois were not together. But he said he was going to be there for his kid. Lois was engaged to another guy at the time,
That's right.
so uh, anything is possible. But I'm pretty confident he's supposed to be for sure the same character. But
The only slight, I I mean I don't doubt that at all. The only slight thing I will say that kind of I'm treating more as a general kind of version of the Christopher Reeve / Superman Returns version, because I think if I remember, Superman Returns only acknowledge it was like one of those movies that kind of like, okay, we're not going to acknowledge any of these sequels. I think because they were like, it's a direct sequel to Superman 2.
and
But
even then, it's not a direct sequel to Superman 2. It's
right,
they were the biggest disservice that movie did was say like, oh, the first two Superman movies kind of sort of play into this. They should have just been like, we're not doing an origin film, people. It's just but whatever.
it's just you know who Superman is. He's going to return. But because I think they also make they make a cheeky reference to the Superman fight in Superman 3,
They
where
do.
he's like, yeah, because he's like, that's not the first time I've had to fight myself.
Right.
Uh,
Now, to be fair, there's nothing in Superman Returns that says Superman 3 never happened.
right.
The only one that contradicts is Superman 4, because both Superman's human parents are dead by then, and Superman Returns, his mom is still alive.
Yes.
So,
But I would say that my main thing from having Brandon Routh be Superman is, I think a lot of people would agree that, man, we got cheated out of a really great Superman, because he is very, very good in that role.
he's awesome. He's
yeah.
got better writing.
Yeah, better writing, and like, people actually aren't trying to put together a movie because it's like, okay, we gotta make a movie for Superman because we spent all this time trying to reboot Superman, because I think
Right.
because Superman Returns unfortunately was just at the very end of a long disappointing trail of getting to a Superman movie for like the
Right.
20th century. And that's a whole
You could do a whole doctoral dissertation on the production of Superman 2.
or Superman Returns.
Oh, Superman Returns. Sorry, yes. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Brandon Routh was a good Superman. This shows it. It helps that he has maybe a little bit better writing, and also he wasn't being directed by a pedophile, so it helps out tremendously.
Who
I'm
can
sorry,
truly say?
alleged pedophile, alleged.
Careful, we're gonna
I don't
get some
wanna get-
copyright strikes
I don't want to get sued.
by the. I think we just got a memo from the Bryan Singer estate. They're shutting us down.
Oh no. So yeah, they brought him. They brought Routh on, and that was great. It's interesting how they acknowledged that he looked like Ray.
Yes. Which
I wasn't sure how they were going to do that, but
I think they handled. I was like, it's kind of one of those. I hate to say the economics of like a special, but it's like, you know what? If you're going to have Brandon Routh be Superman, you got to have the scene. You got to have at least one scene. They're in the same room, and somebody makes the thing. 'Cause they've kind of done that before. I think going back to the Invasion crossover, there was a lot. I think there was a line that Ray says we're talking about Kara. She looks just like my cousin.
yes.
And they've kind of, I think over the years that he's been involved with the Arrow shows, they've made references to Superman. I think first season of The Flash, where he was in an episode, I think they had a thing where it's like, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No. So it's like, this is the final sort of culmination of all these sort of references to fact, like, hey, we got a guy who used to be Superman on our show. It was a long time coming, and again, he is absolutely fantastic in that role, especially when he gives his like, he's got even a little hope monologue, like I think in the third episode. It's like, you know what? That's great. That's like, it warms my cold dead heart, hearing stuff like that.
Then you have Henry Cavill who goes, "I'm going to kill you, Batman." I don't
Or
know, did he
like,
say
or
that?
I don't think I think he says a line to Lex was like, I should bring you in pieces. Where it's like, oh, that's what we want to hear. Superman wanting to rip Lex Luthor into like chunks. That's
Zod, I'm
always
going
fun.
to snap your neck.
Yeah.
But why? I'm just going to do it. Although
Not yet your side. Oh, go ahead.
to be fair, I will defend the neck snap in that movie. That's one of the few things I'll defend in that movie.
Well,
It made sense in the scene, but anyway, we're not going to talk about Man of Steel.
No.
I'm going to get a headache if we do.
No, that's a different episode for a different day.
I want to talk about the legends.
Yes.
One thing that bugged me about this episode is that they reference the crossover in Legends.
Yeah.
And it's cute there, but they mention it more than one time, like, oh, it's his first crossover. Oh, I promise we wouldn't do crossovers anymore. It's like, come on. I get it, but it didn't fit the vibe. Like, they just, I didn't care for that. But
well, when they kind of did that last year on Legends on the Show, Legends is inherently a more sillier, fun show. So it's like,
yes,
okay, you can get away with more direct, breaking the fourth wall type things like that. Gotcha.
Right.
But it's like, okay, this is supposed to be the kind of the more serious, bigger event thing. It's like, why do we have to? It's like, do we really? I get it. There's a lot of characters we'd have to juggle if you did that. Totally understand it. But it's like, as I was watching it, there was a couple things that came to mind where I'm just like, why did we do things a certain way? Like, I get it that they wanted to, if we're going to have the legends involved, let's get the two main legends that actually matter to the rest of these characters, Sarah and Ray. I get that. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. But why can they at least have a line where, like, the rest of the legends are helping with, like, relocation efforts for the refugees of Earth-38 or something like that, or they're doing something off screen instead of just like, we're not having to do crossovers, even though, again, for this special, the entirety of reality is in jeopardy. It's like,
right. It was interesting that they went to an alternate version of the Wave Rider.
Yeah, that's another one of my things on my list of why did we do this way? I get it. They needed a lab. Totally get that. But then they decide, instead of just using their Wave Rider and just saying, hey, you guys got to get the fuck out of here, they went to another Earth Legends team that conveniently has a Wave Rider that looks just like our Wave Rider, which is like, if you're going to go to a multiverse, or if you're using a multiverse, why don't you have, like, different versions of the Wave Rider? Like, I'm sure in a show like this, there's a lot of concept art or a lot of early designs for, like, how things are supposed to look. And I'm sure they'd be like, well, why don't we use this fun, like, we had an early concept of the Wave Rider before we settled on the final look. Why don't we use that for this alternate team? That'd be fun. That'd be a different look of things to be.
Let me tell you why. Let me explain this to you. One, it all comes down to money. They have the sets to the Wave Rider. They have the CGI model for the Wave Rider. They're not going to spend the money. They're spending enough money on all these cameos. I mean, Robert Wall doesn't come cheap these days, and they needed to use what they could. They didn't bring on the crew of the Legends because then they'll have to pay them all. So they get the three. They'll get the three OG characters to what do you call it, to pop up, plus a nice cameo by Wentworth Miller, who probably could just phone in his lines literally because he's a voiceover. So yeah, that's how that's the reason behind all of that. So.
I know, Nick, I know this, but why can't my shows just cater to my needs and my needs alone?
Well, that's the evergreen question of the internet.
Yep.
Why can't they do the show that I want to see?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was weird that pretty much on top of, again, I don't know why the show was like, okay, why we even had to make it a another version of the Wave Rider with another version of Mick, for all intents and purposes, is the exact same, except for the
Right.
fact except for the fact this version's not the successful rider yet, that his current version is.
That's
Um,
true.
but but yeah, that's kind of the only thing that was like, I appreciate that they were able to include Captain Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold, as at least the voiceover of the ship. I like that, but it's like, for the most part, why do we have to kind of do this complicated workaround way of getting to it? It's just one of those things, like, just seems like extra work where it's like, the setup is already there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, they did what they could. They probably wanted, maybe the in-universe story is that they needed a similar enough Wave Rider so they could do all of their stuff that's as similar as
Right.
possible. But yeah, I don't know. But
It was going back, my thing, just kind of very sloppy. It was like, it just seemed kind of sloppy and just like unnecessary. Although like Mick in the main show doesn't seem to do too much, at least in the last couple episodes of season 4 that I've watched. They
mhm,
did manage to use him in that like kind of the hot potato with the
the
baby.
baby.
Yeah,
Like
where
I saw that gag coming like a mile away when they're like passing the baby along.
yeah,
The best part of it was that the monitor's trying to explain all this grave information and the baby's crying and the monitor's clearly getting annoyed with it. It's like,
yeah. It's just, yeah, eventually just gets some Mick, and of course that's when the baby calms down. It's like, okay. So I do like that, and that kind of goes to another thing. I do like that they do manage to be able to kind of work in. It's not all doom and gloom. They do manage to work in at least some lighter moments, kind of like
yeah,
the Lucifer cameo and other ones like it.
yeah. Speaking of roles, we haven't talked about this yet, but Black Lightning, they brought him into
Yep.
this, and much to my surprise, they had a Crisis tie-in episode. Uh,
Yes.
which pretty much, I'm guessing did you watch that episode of Black Lightning at all?
I only caught like the end bit where it's like that actually directly ties into Crisis. But I think most of that
Okay.
episode, from what I could tell, it seemed like most of that episode played with some concept of the multiverse a little bit.
Well, here's what had happened was the antimatter wave was attacking the Earth throughout the whole episode, and so it like took place while the crisis was going on. At the very end of the episode, that's when they pluck Black Lightning away. But
Mhm.
I was actually it was very well done in that they tied it into the crisis, but they also tied it into the ongoing show. So it was with one of the characters who was dealing with a uh, crisis of a conscience for stuff that she's been doing. And when the antimatter wave hit, like she was kind of split between three different versions of herself from alternate Earths, and she was seeing how their lives played out. Because one of them was one who fully went in to her powers and sided with the bad guys and was doing bad things and became like a villain. The other one was someone who became super passive and didn't want her powers. And so yeah, it kind of helped her see which way she needed to go. And then, of course, the universe ends in that one, and they pluck Black Lightning, who drops off in the Flash episode.
Mhm.
So it was fun seeing Black Lightning interact with the other characters finally. It
Yeah.
was fun to see. I enjoyed that. Um,
And plus, it was like one of those things, like, yeah, again, a lot of the focus has been on these 5 shows, but it's like, at least it's nice that they're at least saying, hey, yeah, our 6th show, we're involving it, but not so much. We're kind of like the first year that they had Supergirl involved. It was very kind of like, like she was involved. Her episode was barely involved with that episode's problems of the invasion, until like the
right,
last like
right.
30 seconds. At least this one's like, okay, well, if the crisis is supposed to be about multiverse, why don't we kind of use that? So that I do appreciate that they kind of went that route, for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So am I. So that was well done on their part, and I look forward to seeing Chris Williams back as Black Lightning, and I think he's coming back in the Legends episode. So we'll when the heroes restore reality, of course. But
Yeah.
so I'll be looking forward to seeing him back again. But I forgot what I was about to say. I was going to say something. Oh yeah. John Wesley's ship as Barry Allen
Yep.
Flash from the '90s show.
Mhm.
Everyone's prediction from a year ago was 100% correct, in that everyone thought Barry Allen was going to die. No, it was the other
Yeah.
Flash. That I think that's something that surprised absolutely no one.
Yep.
Which still makes me wonder, where did that newspaper article come from? Like, Flash dies in the crisis. Like, if that was always how it was meant to be, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure they're like you. I'm sure. I saw that coming a mile away. The way that they phrased it was like the Flash will die. It's like, well, they didn't say Barry Allen. They just said the Flash. So something's going to happen where
Yeah.
where go again in Obi-Wan. What I said was true from a certain point of view.
Right.
Um, and I'm sure they're probably going to say, eventually they'll be like, well, there was another crisis, or not, because I know in the DC Comics verse, there are multiple events that have been referred to as crisis, so they could do something like that if they really wanted to. But for the most part, they kind of also treated it like an epilogue or finale for that '90s Flash show, because they actually then cut to like a scene from that show, which I'm pretty sure nobody from my generation actually watched.
No, no, they didn't. This
Yeah,
is for like the people who actually watched that show, and the people who may have watched it when it came out on DVD about 10 years ago, like myself. But for everyone else, they're like, there was a Flash show? What? Who's this old guy?
yeah,
Why does he look like Flash's dad? I don't understand.
he gets that a lot. Um,
So,
but
yeah, so he died in a very well done scene that it's like they ripped the comic book art from the original Crisis comic. So,
yeah,
there's that. But yeah,
uh,
that's the end of the world.
as we know it, and you know what, Nick, I'm feeling fine, but
Well, our reality wasn't destroyed, so I guess the Anti-Monitor didn't win.
yeah, suck it.
I did like how, going back to Jefferson Pierce for a second, in
Uh,
his world, uh, Superman, Batman, Flash, they're all comic book characters. So it's interesting when he saw the two Superman, he's like, wait, what? Huh? The Superman thing's
Superman's
real?
Yeah, that's always I think that's always been one of the more fun concepts from I think in Lisa in how they've always explained DC, sometimes explained it as like, well, the comic books in your world, they somehow were
They're our
reflections
reality.
of another reality. It's like, okay, that's kind of a fun idea, like for you kids out there, what you're reading is actually happening somewhere, so I
Yeah.
kind of like that. Um,
So do you
actually
think
going back,
there's someone, do you think there's another world that is reading us right now in a comic book? Like
if
the
they
all
were
new Culture Cast issue number 151.
in this issue, we once again fight with our nemesis, recording devices,
I know, right? Be like the
uh,
most boring comic book ever.
and canceled. Uh,
So, okay, I was like, we've been going on for a while here, and kind of want to wrap things up here, but a lot happened in the 3 episodes. Uh, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm curious to see how it's all going to play away. If this was a movie, I could see this being the Avengers Infinity War, and whatever
yep,
happened next time would be the end game, I guess. But if this was a 2-hour movie, there are so many things they could have cut out to fit
yep,
it into a 2 hour. Like the Tom Welling cameo, not needed, fun, but they
yep.
gotta pad the time somehow. But I enjoyed it. I recorded it on my DVR, so I didn't delete it yet. So I might try to rewatch it before the new ones come out, just to get all caught up. I did want to ask you, did you watch any of the Crisis Aftermath show with Kevin Smith?
No, I did.
You're,
I was gonna say, was I missing anything important?
no, it's embarrassing.
Oh
Um,
no.
they, it's like like how they have like the Talking Dead, and like we're going to have our review show afterwards. It's
Yeah.
it's like it's horribly scripted. They try to imply that it's in front of a live audience. It's not. It's awkward. It's odd. Um, I didn't like it. There's like they have like, here's a guest from the show, and we have a super fan on. It's like, who cares who this super fan is? And it's like, what, I don't know. Like, It's dumb. It's absolutely
Yeah,
dumb. It was made to fill time and to
I,
give Kevin
I
Smith a check.
yeah, because he's like, you guys need me for anything? Sure, Kevin, just stand over there and talk for a couple minutes. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I've never gotten behind that idea of the television show that has to give itself a good old pat on the back by having a follow-up show. I mean, I think
That's what our podcasts are about.
no, but Nick, we're different. We're better than that.
Are we? Yes, we are.
Yeah, but yeah, but I mean, for the most part, I will like I kind of said at the beginning of this episode. There's a lot of things from the. Again, this should be the biggest. This should be the most polished. I honestly think Elseworlds and Crisis on Earth X were better than this in terms of like how to kind of in terms of just kind of like how to spread everything out between everything where it's like everything feels necessary, and even stuff that could be considered fluff kind of adds to like the whole structure of trying to treat it more like a big movie. But I don't know. It's um, there are just some things for me that I think the only other two things I think for the most part I've gotten over. I've at least discussed most of the things that kind of were gripes with me. I think the only other two that I didn't mention, that I didn't have a chance to mention before, that I'll just mention quickly, just that way I can say I addressed it. Near the end of episode 3, so earlier in that episode they kind of go like, okay, so who's all the Paragons of like basically who's the what were the kids from Captain Planet, the Earth
Oh, the Planeteers.
Planeteers, yeah. Who are the Planeteers of this crisis? They briefly mentioned Martian Manhunter, which is like, okay, he kind of had a little bit in the Supergirl thing, so it makes sense that he would be involved. But then he's on the ship, which I'm like 99% sure they didn't have any scene where it's like, hey, Martian Manhunter is on the ship now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I forgot that he was there until like the end of the third episode where he's like they whisk him away.
yeah, no, I don't think he was. He like Jim Corrigan. He just popped out from behind a corner, apparently.
I've been here the whole time. I had
Yeah,
some buffalo wings a couple days ago. I've been in the bathroom.
yeah. Wouldn't go in there for a few minutes.
Martian dumps are really bad.
Yeah. There was that, and then the only other one was in the first episode. I think they tried doing sort of a retcon or like addressing of like it was something from Legends where like I think in the first season they went to like a dystopian version of Star City where they had like an old man Oliver Queen.
Yeah.
And they tried addressing that, but they kind of did it. They kind of did it. I'm not sure if they just did it bad or if they just forgot like what actually happened in that episode, which I wouldn't blame them because I don't think many people actually cared or remembered about Legends during that first season.
Right.
But it was like because I was like, okay, they're trying to go back to the old man Oliver thing, but it's not. I think in the Legends episode, if I remember, he has a robot arm because they're trying to play off kind of like the Dark Knight Returns Oliver Queen with the arm cut off. He also had Connor Hawke, and he was kind of training him to be like, a successor to Green, but which is that the same actor like from that Legends episode that's in the current season of Arrow?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I wasn't sure if it was the same actor or not, but yeah. So
in the Legends episode, and this is completely insane. In the Legends episode, it was implied that was John Diggle Jr. who changed his name to Connor Hawke.
Right. Then they, but I think oh, go ahead.
In the version of it now, the Arrow version is his name always was Connor Hawke, and John Diggle Jr. is a completely different character.
Yeah. So again, time travel. I'm sure the in universe explanation is going to be time travel, mucking about, stuff like that. In reality, just like we forgot and we just didn't pay attention enough or cared enough.
I think they're going to go one way with something and then decide to go another way. But anyway, that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, but it was kind of just like in terms of like, well, because it was like, okay, well, we're going to tie what happened in that one episode of Legends to like the grand, where everything fits in the in this kind of world. But then it's like it's not the same, because it's like that Oliver didn't recognize Sarah. It's like, well, okay, so we're not doing that. We're kind of, but we're kind of not. I think one of the other positive things I wanted to mention, or two other the only other positive things I want to mention as kind of my closing thoughts. I do kind of enjoy that Clark had to basically go through his own version of Krypton exploding, with sending his baby off into a rocket,
Oh yeah.
which apparently the survivors of Krypton on Argo City didn't plan. Like, hey, what if we have another like event where our entire world's about to be destroyed? Don't you think we should have some more ships built? Nah, only baby-sized rockets. That's all we get. And once again, I just want to give props to John Cryer for being very delightful as the CW version of Lex Luthor.
He was great.
Yep, he's wonderfully evil. Really kind of really working out that frustration from all those years on 2.5 Men. So
Yeah,
uh,
right. He
but-
was watching someone else and was like, I'm gonna write these ideas down for a later role.
yeah. So that's, I think, most of my main thoughts from kind of like the first part. But those are the only two like gripes that I really had, because everything else I kind of addressed at one point or another. But yeah, that's kind of where a lot of my main things stand with this crisis.
I only have one question left.
Okay.
And I'm curious to see if they'll bring this up. But one of the characters that's very big in the Crisis comic book, and they previewed him at the end of the Elseworlds crossover, was Psycho Pirate.
Yeah.
He's the one who gave the line, "Worlds will live, worlds will die, and nothing will be the same again." And which implied like, oh, he already knows that something's happening. They're going to bring him, but they haven't done anything with him. Not that they need to. I mean, there's plenty enough going on, but they've done other things like making Harbinger the killer of Monitor and everything else. But it's interesting they didn't bring him back. So
No, I guess I'm going to kind of pick your brain a little bit. That way we have kind of like some kernels to go off of for when we come back in January. But so some of those big events that sort of happened in the show's adaptation of Crisis, did anything similar to that happen in the comic book in terms of like Harbinger being possessed and
Yes.
killing the mind? Okay.
Harbinger in the comic early on is possessed, or is not possessed per se, but she's influenced by the Anti-Monitor to kill the Monitor.
Okay.
The scene where Flash runs and dissolves himself while destroying the Anti-Monitor cannon, that happened in the Crisis. Those are the first two that immediately spring to mind. Like, all the worlds not get defeated the way it did in this version. That's something they made for the show.
Okay.
But going out and collecting like a team, that sort of kind of happened in a way. Protecting the towers, which we didn't quite. We did see protecting the towers.
In the first
episode, that kind of happened.
Which, go back to the tower thing, which I'm surprised that they, again, going back to like considering how much setup Crisis has been given across the other shows. I'm just surprised that you're just like all of a sudden introduced. Oh yeah, the Anti-Monitor's got an army of Dementors, basically.
Shadow demons. Those are from the comic as well.
Okay. And in order to defend this tower, we're going to send in 4 people that I think are relatively qualified: the Superman, Supergirl, the Flash, and the Atom with at least his lasers and stuff. But then we're also going to send in Batwoman to just like kick the ghosts, and Arrow and Future Arrow just shooting bow and arrows at them. Which again, Oliver and Mia being there, I get it. But having Batwoman just like do like spin kicks at what essentially are demons, there's something inherently funny about that. I don't know why.
Yeah, that is a little silly, but
But my one question is, so besides the Anti-Monitor in the main Crisis story from the comics, how does Psycho Pirate? I guess they even, because at the end of Elseworlds they mentioned Dr. Destiny kind of was also being involved, and then I've heard that
Dr.
Reverse Flash is not involved
in the comic.
Okay.
Destiny wasn't involved in the comic, but Psycho Pirate was. His main involvement was he manipulates like emotions of people.
Okay.
And he was going to be used that way. And that's mainly. There's more to it, but I'm kind of drawing a blank because I'm very tired too at the moment, so I can't immediately jump to mind. But yeah, so I'm surprised they haven't used him, but maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't see him as an upcoming guest star, but anything can happen, I suppose.
Yeah. And only because it seems like he pops up in a lot of events like this. Is the does Reverse Flash play any role in the events of Crisis that you can recall, or do you think he will?
I guess he could, but in the actual comic, he does not.
Okay. So I think that was my only kind of like little tidbits, just because I haven't read the full source material, so I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, so what?
The Reverse Flash is actually officially dead at the time of when the original Crisis came out. So his character had been previously killed, but so he couldn't play a role. But doesn't mean he couldn't do it in this version.
Well, I was gonna say we got Tom Kava. We got him booked for God knows how long, so we're going to use him.
Yeah, they could bring him back to do that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out next month.
Yep. So we'll see you in about 6 weeks, 5 weeks.
Well, the next episodes come on January 14th.
14th.
Does that sound about right? 14th?
No,
so that's like about a month away. Yeah, a month away. So we'll find out. Same bat time, same bat channel. So, all right. Well, I got nothing more to say. I think we should wrap this bad boy up.
Yep.
So, thanks for joining me, cuz, while we talk about Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. And we'll be back in about a month to talk about the second part.
I am looking forward to it very, very much.
Yeah, same here. All right. I will talk to you later, buddy.
All right. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
You've been listening to the All New CultureCast, where every episode is all new. Check out new episodes and our back catalog at allnewculturecast.libsyn.com. We could also be found on iTunes. The All New CultureCast, a saltwater production, copyright 2019. Thanks for listening.
Now that the check from the CW is cleared, let's get this turkey on the road.